My name is Rin. My husband Kenichi is an alumni of Koutarou University, the top university in the country, and is currently working as a top-class tax accountant. After I graduated from high school, I decided not to go to college and became a full-time office worker instead. A mutual friend introduced me to Kenichi, and we fell in love. I believed that I wanted to spend my life with him and got married the very next year. Although I've decreased my working hours, I'm still at the same job. I'm living with my husband and our 8-year-old son, Koutarou, and I thought that the three of us were very happy together. However, I've been troubled by the way my husband and son have been treating me recently.
Mother?
What's the matter?
Would you stop watching those inferior gossip channels so early in the morning? I prefer to watch something international, like the world news.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to check my horoscope for the day.
What's the point? It's all nonsense based on generalizations, and you only believe what it says when the results are positive anyway. You're only wasting your time.
I don't see what the problem is. It's fun hearing it and seeing it come true.
What should I expect? You're a woman that didn't even go to college. Anyway, will you change the channel to something more fruitful like the news? I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said hearing about what's been happening around the world will have a bigger influence on your day than seeing where your star sign is ranked. Well, you wouldn't know a thing about how to use that information to your advantage, since you only do as you're told to.
You've never worked a single day in your life, so don't talk like you know everything.
Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
When my husband entered the living room, Koutarou's face lit up and he began to beam, showing a completely different expression to the frown he had been giving me. Our son looks up to and respects his dad, who had graduated from college and had a successful career at a high-paying tax office.
Good morning, Koutarou. So, what's for breakfast this morning?
Nothing to look forward to, it's just eggs and bacon and a bowl of rice the same as yesterday. She's cutting corners as usual.
If only she would think about preparing some yogurt or fruits in the morning. Something to balance out those carbohydrates. What a shame.
Oh yes, that sounds much healthier than what she's prepared. You're always right, Father.
Sorry, but we don't have either of those in the fridge right now. I'll make sure to have some yogurt and fruits ready tomorrow morning. I can even make you a steak or some spaghetti if you're going to be that picky.
Oh no, don't be silly, Mother. I don't want anything with such a high amount of calories for breakfast. Anyways, I'm going to head to school. It's compulsory education after all.
Be careful about using your long words, Koutarou. You don't want to make your classmates feel inferior when they're with you, okay?
Don't worry, Father. I've learned how to hide what I think about them, and I act like the class clown. They may be stupid, but they are my friends.
Koutarou, I'm so glad that you've been growing into such a sensible young boy. It must be because you've taken after me. You're so lucky that you've got more of my blood in you.
Well, sorry for not being a college graduate. As you can see, both my husband and my son look down on me because of my educational background. Kenichi never used to say these sorts of things when we first started dating. But as Koutarou grew, he began to notice more ways that his son had taken after him and came to enjoy pointing them out. Recently, they've both started talking with an accent, like they're upper class, and have been having conversations about things that I don't understand or don't know about on purpose. Koutarou loves his dad, and unsurprisingly wants to be just like him, so he's copied the way that Kenichi has been demeaning me. For a while, it's worried me that Koutarou will start discriminating against people because of their education and their sex, but it looks like it might be too late. Hey honey, don't you think that you and Koutarou have been a bit disrespectful to me lately? It needs to stop.
Huh? What are you talking about? We're not doing anything like that.
Then what about this morning? You were both making comments about the breakfast I prepared, and talking as though I wasn't there. I've tried talking to Koutarou, but he thinks that it's okay because you never tell him off.
He was only stating the obvious. What do you want me to do? It's true that you gotta think more about a balanced diet. You don't want Koutarou to end up being a high school graduate like you, do ya?
Excuse me? That's exactly what I'm talking about. My education has nothing to do with Koutarou or how I raise him.
Are you bothered about your lack of high education? Then how about you go to college, take an online course or something?
Even though I'm working part-time and doing all of the housework, I don't have the time for that.
That's the sort of excuse made by someone who will never achieve anything. I don't have time, I don't have money, etc.
So what if I only graduated from high school? You never had a problem with it when we were dating. What's gotten into you?
Humans grow and change, Reen, although it seems like a woman like you is incapable of doing so.
Then, Koutarou, who had been at cram school, returned home.
What, is mother being hysterical again?
Welcome home, Koutarou. That's right. I only told her the truth and she snapped. It's so pitiful.
Mother, you've got to accept the truth, otherwise you can't find a solution to your problems, and you'll only become more and more miserable with yourself.
Koutarou, enough with the posh accent. You just sound like you're looking down on everyone you talk to.
Oh, Mother, you're overreacting. That's called victimizing yourself. Perhaps you should go and see a doctor, and maybe have them prescribe you some medicine.
My husband only nodded in agreement to our son's words, and didn't even attempt to tell him off. Up until now, I don't know how many times I've told Koutarou not to talk to people with that kind of tone. But if his dad won't support me, then it's clear that my words won't reach him. Listen to me, you two. Do you really believe that you're better than the people around you?
Of course I do. Just how hard do you think I've been studying all this time? Have you seen my grades? How much do you think my father earns at his position as a tax accountant?
Alright, then can you tell me how much cabbages will be tomorrow at MoniRobo supermarket when they go on discount?
How am I supposed to know that?
Well, I know, because I'm in charge of the money that goes through this household, and it's my job to put away as much money for your future as I can.
So what, you're living off father's money? So it's only a matter of fact that you make yourself useful. Do you want praise for that?
I make every single meal that goes into your mouth. I wash, clean, I drive you to school, and even have a part-time job. I do a lot of other things to make sure that your lives run smoothly, and so that your dad doesn't have to lift a finger. You say that that's a matter of course?
Don't complain, Mother. That's everything a mother is supposed to do.
I was stunned. Before I knew it, my own son had grown into a horrible, self-righteous misogynist, and it felt like there was no other way to make him understand. Oh, really? Then you guys can do everything by yourselves from tomorrow onwards. I'm not going to do any of the things I've been doing up until now.
Don't be stupid, Rin. Why are you getting so serious about an argument with a child?
Don't forget that you're also at fault here. I can't believe you're just nodding along to everything Koutarou is saying. He's refused to show me the same respect as he shows you. But you won't say anything. It's because you agree with him, isn't it?
Rin, he's right. You can't get upset because he's telling the truth. You're a housewife, so you should just...
I dare you to finish that sentence. I'm working too.
No, wait, I didn't mean I just meant that,
Father, just leave her to do as she likes. She won't be able to live without your money anyway, and she'll apologize when she realizes that.
Oh, you don't need to worry about me. I'll live on the money that I'm making at my part-time job without any problem. Thinking back, it was childish of me to make such a move, but I had reached my limit and needed to get away from them if they only thought of me as a maid and not a mother. I didn't make dinner that night and shut myself up in the bedroom, but the more I thought about it, the more I felt like I had said too much to Koutarou, who, despite his precociousness, was still just a little boy. I thought I should apologize and return to the living room, only to find my husband and son sitting face to face, talking and laughing. I wonder what they're talking about. I crept closer to the entrance of the living room without being noticed and listened to what they were saying.
Koutarou, don't let your mother's words get to you. She was just speaking nonsense. You're absolutely right, but she doesn't want to admit that. She also says that she's working, but the amount she makes is nothing compared to what I make. It doesn't count as a job when she barely makes any money.
Yes, I know. You work as a tax accountant after all.
You understand which job is more difficult, don't you, Koutarou? Mine or my mother's?
Of course I do. Your job is more difficult.
In other words, your mother has a job that anyone can do. She's expendable. She's a very big fish in a very small pond. Remember that.
That makes sense. As expected of my father, you explain everything effortlessly. We've got to think of a way to teach Mother a lesson, or she'll keep on standing up to us.
That's my boy. Tomorrow morning, we're gonna do our best to bring down that evil mother and her evil reign. She's gotta know her place.
Yeah.
I desperately wished that I was dreaming. I don't know how many times I pinched my own cheeks, but it was pointless. Ow. I had been wondering why Koutarou had started talking to me like that, but now I knew. I didn't want to believe it, but Kenichi had turned him against me and had been encouraging him to look down on me and think that I was inferior. Then, the next morning, they began their attack, just like I expected they would.
Mother, where's my breakfast? I'm hungry.
If you're hungry, then why don't you make something for yourself? It's simple.
And you call yourself a mother? Despicable.
Before being a mother, I'm a human being. I'm doing this to teach him an important life lesson.
Those that don't work don't deserve to eat.
then that would mean that you don't deserve to eat anything now, wouldn't it? By the way, I made my own breakfast using only foods that I purchased with my own money, that I made at work.
If you've got some time to talk, then make my breakfast. Father, you've got to say something to her.
Think about this, Reen. You're an adult. You can do better than this. If you're gonna be such a child, then I have to ask you to leave this house.
Oh, so you refuse to side with me, but you're happy to stand up for Koutarou.
Of course he would, because I'm right. Why would he side with you?
That's right, Reen. If you understand, then get moving and make breakfast.
At that moment, I could tell that something inside me had snapped. I couldn't take their insults any longer. Koutarou, you think that I have an obligation to take care of you and your dad because I'm a mother and a wife, and that it's a simple job for simple people. Is that correct?
That's right. So do your job and make breakfast.
I didn't want to say this to a child. I really didn't, but then I have no choice but to stop being your mother.
What?
What? Do you realize what you're saying?
Listen to me, Koutarou. There's something important that I have to tell you.
Hey, what are you doing? Think about this.
My husband guessed what I was about to do and tried to stop me, but I wasn't going to let him interfere. The truth is, I'm not your real mother, Koutarou. We're not related.
What?
Koutarou froze at my words, while his dad was obviously panicked.
That's got nothing to do with this conversation, okay? Why are you bringing it up?
It has everything to do with this. I accepted Koutarou as my own son and only kept it a secret because you begged me to. I've been doing my best as his mother and really thought of him as my own child. But I can't take the way you've been both treating me. You've been looking down on me because I didn't go to university, because I'm a woman and only work part-time. You both seem to think that I can't live without your money, but I'm perfectly fine without it. Unfortunately for you, I'm not as weak as you may think I am.
What do you mean? You're not my real mom? I don't understand.
I'm not your mother, Koutarou, because your real mother is your dad's previous wife. He's been married before.
Father, is that true?
Yeah.
Your dad told me that he divorced his previous wife after she put a lot of pressure on him, and he became depressed. We got married after a friend introduced us, and I raised you like my own son. You were only a baby, so it's not strange that you don't remember any of that. But it's the truth. I didn't give birth to you.
Really? Then that must be why I'm so smart.
What?
Father's always telling me how I need to study hard at school and get better grades, otherwise I'll turn into an idiot like you. He told me that intelligence is genetic, so I have to be careful. But if you're not my mom, then I don't have any of your blood or genes to bring my intelligence down. What a relief! I'm so glad to hear that.
If you think that, then there's really no hope for you.
If you don't like the way we think, then get out already. You don't belong here, and all you do is waste my father's money anyway. You parasite.
Wait, hey, Koutarou, don't talk to your mom like that.
It's too late to start acting like you're on my side, you know. I don't need your pity. I know that you're the one that's been teaching all these thoughts and judgments to Koutarou yourself.
What? There's no reason to stop her from leaving, Father. We don't need this woman. We just need to get rid of her while we have the chance.
But who's gonna do the housework when she leaves?
Oh, but you make so much money, don't you? Why don't you hire a housemaid to do everything for you? At least they'll get the compensation for the work they do. Though I doubt that you can afford to do that if you don't have my salary or have me managing the rent and bills. Goodbye, Kenichi, Koutarou. Thankfully, I had already gathered my things the night before, in case of a situation like this, and only had to grab my suitcase before I left the house. Despite my resolution to leave, I couldn't help but cry, and my parents welcomed me back with open arms when I got to their house. 2 months later, I had spent my time going to work and resting my broken heart at my parents' house when I received divorce papers in the mail from my husband. My parents were furious when they saw what had arrived, and even yelled that Kenichi had no right to dismiss me like that after I had made the painstaking decision to accept the child he had with his previous wife as my own son. But I no longer felt anything for him and found that I was much happier without him. So I filled the papers in and filed them at the local town hall on the very same day. A month had passed since I had filed the divorce papers when I got a call from the police. They let me know that they had Koutarou in custody. I'm sorry to have wasted your time, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to do with that child anymore. I told them that I couldn't collect him, but the police officer wouldn't give in so easily.
I've been trying to contact the kid's father, but I'm not getting through at all. I understand that there might be a reason why you don't want to get involved, but you're the only person I can get in touch with. And could you come and collect him? He is pretty upset. Koutarou himself is saying that he'd prefer to go home with you, so,
Huh? He's saying that he wants to come with me? I didn't have any obligation to go, but thanks to having been able to rest for an entire 3 months at my parents', I felt much stronger mentally and physically. I couldn't help but feel bad for Koutarou and decided to go and see him at the police station and find out what had happened. When I arrived, I was shocked to find that Koutarou looked as though he hadn't had a bath for several days. He looked tiny as he sat crouched on the floor. Then, as soon as he saw that I had come for him,
You're late!
He complained, but in complete opposition to his words, he jumped up and ran towards me, as though he were about to hug me. I dodged out of the way.
Why did you move out of the way? It's our first reunion in months. Shouldn't you be happy to see me?
You haven't forgotten what you said to me 3 months ago, have you? Because I haven't. I think that there's something you should say to me before anything else. Go on.
I'm sorry.
Good. So why are you dirty? What happened to you? I heard everything that had happened to him and was horrified. It was worse than anything I could have imagined.
I was kicked out of the house by father.
What? Why would he do that?
He brought a new wife home, but when she saw me, she said that she didn't like children, so father told me to get out and to never come back.
I couldn't believe that Kenichi had remarried in such a short period of time. But I was even more in awe at the fact that he had the gall to abandon his own son for a woman he had just married. It was such a heartless thing to do, and I didn't know what to say.
It seems like Koutarou's father tried to give him to an orphanage, but he was denied it since he's got the financial means to raise a child, so there was no need for the orphanage to take him in.
So that's why he kicked him out? Well, I don't know why I'm so surprised. It seemed like the sort of thing he would do.
Hey, can we just go home already? I'm hungry and I want to sleep in a proper bed.
What are you talking about? I only came here because the police told me that your dad hasn't been answering the phone and hasn't come to pick you up. I just came to see what was going on.
Mother, you won't take me home, but why?
I'm not your mother, remember? I'm just a parasite that's stupid and can't do anything, aren't I? That's what you said to me when you and your father kicked me out of your home. Why do I have to take you home?
I'm really sorry.
Do you really think that saying sorry will be enough to make me feel better? I was hurt. How long were you walking around town like that?
But for 2 weeks, I used all my pocket money to buy sweets when I was still hungry.
Silly boy. Why didn't you try to go to your grandma and grandpa's house? Or at least call them from a phone booth if you were so desperate?
But...
Do you understand the seriousness of what you did now? I might have been wandering the streets just like you if I really didn't have any money. Even if your dad did encourage you, what you did was terrible as a human being. Do you understand? But I do know that I can't completely blame you because it was the result of your dad's twisted brainwashing. I just want you to learn from this.
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry.
I let out a deep sigh and contacted a certain person to let them know about the situation. Someone will come for you, so let's wait here a little longer.
Father?
What, do you want to go back to your dad after all? Koutarou shook his head violently from side to side. Don't worry, I haven't called him. I don't think he can raise you all by himself after all. But it's not like I've just been twiddling my thumbs these past 3 months.
What do you mean?
You'll understand when they arrive.
What about father?
Leave your dad to me. I'll deal with him.
Mother, Mom, I'm sorry.
You finally called me Mom again. After a while, a certain person came to collect Koutarou. I'd been searching for them desperately these past few months, and it wasn't in vain. I left Koutarou with that person, and after I saw them both off, I began my preparations to bring Kenichi to his knees. He was going to regret having made an idiot of me for being a high school graduate, and for neglecting his duty as a father for a woman he barely knew. What he had done was unforgivable. I used all of the documents I had brought with me when I left Kenichi and Koutarou's home, and found evidence of something I could use to drive Kenichi into a corner.
What are you doing here so early in the morning?
Don't play dumb, Kenichi. I have something I want to talk to you about.
Is it about Koutarou?
It's not just that. Anyway, I've brought my lawyer with me, so you better be prepared.
Are you serious? Sounds like you brought in trouble.
When I arrived at my ex-husband's house, I met a flashy-looking young woman who seemed to be his brand new wife. The house was an absolute mess, and it was clear that neither of them were cleaning. My ex-husband had obviously chosen this woman for her looks, not a partner he could rely on. When my lawyer and I entered the living room, neither of them brought out any refreshments, nor did they offer us a seat. So we remained standing, and I looked towards my ex-husband before opening my mouth to begin. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about the lie you told me.
What lie?
I found the woman you were married to before me, and she told me everything.
What?
When we first started dating, you told me that you had only just recovered from depression because of the way your wife put so much pressure on you and bullied you, and that's why you had decided to divorce her. Remember? But when I looked into it, it didn't take long to find out that you were the reason why you got divorced. It was your fault. On top of that, you made up some sob story about how she had been cheating on you and gave her no choice but to sign the divorce papers because she couldn't stand up to you. The one that had been bullying and abusive was you. The victim was your ex-wife.
That's a lie. None of that's true. Besides, how did you even talk to her? She shouldn't be able to speak.
Don't underestimate women, Kenichi. After she lost custody of Koutarou to you because of your lies, she's been fighting her depression and her mutism in order to get her son back. She's not afraid of you anymore.
What? She started speaking again? I don't believe you.
Then how about you see her for yourself? You'll be in for a shock.
Huh? But what do you mean by that?
Kana, come in.
What?
It's been a long time since I last saw you, Kenichi.
Kana? What? Why is Koutarou with you?
Mom took me in after you threw me away. Do you have a problem with that?
What? Huh? You've got to be joking, but I never told you Kana's number. How did you…
I told you I found her, and I brought them together.
I heard everything about what you did to Mom and about all the lies you told me to get on your side. Why would you do that?
Hey, is this going to take long? It sounds like a pain, so can I go to our room? I'm really bored.
No, stay here. You can't leave me alone with these people. You're my wife.
Is this the woman you chose over taking care of your own son? Rin seems like such a lovely person, but you were stupid enough to let her go. Your taste in women has clearly gotten much worse since. What is wrong with you?
Shut up, enough. I'm gonna report you to the police for trespassing, okay? I'm suing. The one who's gonna be taken to the court is you, Kenichi. I've been working with Rin to help her demand the compensation she deserves. We've got proof of this divorce being your fault.
What? So you're telling me that I have to pay this woman's compensation, even though she's beneath me?
Didn't you learn in college that education has nothing to do with compensation? You clearly didn't learn anything worthwhile.
You owe Rin $20,000. Here's all the necessary documents.
$20,000? Are you being serious? He could buy me a designer bag with that money. That's not fair. He's my husband.
Hey, will you just shut up? You're not helping. $20,000? Is that all you want? Then I'll pay it. I'll have it ready straight away, but don't even bother with me ever again, understood? Oh, and for Kana and Koutarou, you'll have to pay $500 in child support every month. The details for Kana's bank account are in this file.
What? You want $500 every month?
Of course. He's your son. You should be happy to pay that much so that he can lead a good life.
I'm ashamed to call him my father.
You took him in, so you should pay for everything yourself. Why should I? That's the rule, Kenichi. Pay it.
Or would you rather we call the police on you for throwing out an elementary schooler and get arrested for neglect? You have a choice.
Wait, I didn't throw him out. I speak to an orphanage and child services, but they refused to take him in, so I had no choice. You can't have me arrested. Mom, I don't mind giving the police a statement of what happened.
Maybe we should do that. What do you think?
Wait, I was in the wrong, okay? I apologize, so please just don't call the police. I'm begging you.
Alright, well, if you sign here as proof of your approval, your word isn't enough.
Damn you. You'll all remember this. Get the hell out of my house. You don't ever come back here ever again.
That's exactly my intention, Kenichi. Oh, but there's one more thing. Then, for the final part of my revenge, I delivered a fatal blow to Kenichi's career when I revealed what I knew. The truth is, I wasn't just looking for your ex-wife after I left the house. I actually copied the contents of the USB from your office before I left, and did a little digging. And what do you think I found?
You did what?
I was speechless. I found evidence of something unbelievable. You became a tax accountant, and yet, it seems that you've been helping several companies and individuals to evade their tax. Did you really think that you could keep that hidden?
What? You didn't even go to college! How could you understand any of those documents? You're bluffing!
Don't underestimate me. I've been managing the money that goes in and out of this house for years. I can see when the numbers don't add up. Well, I didn't actually look at it myself. I took it to a friend of mine who's a professional at this sort of stuff and had them take a look for me. However, I found his Achilles heel, and when he finally realized that I wasn't bluffing, his face turned pale and he began to sweat. Earlier this morning, I sent the contents of your USB to the manager of your office, so they should be all aware of your crimes by now. Good luck when you get to work.
And what?
And just like that, you're finished. How does it feel?
You really go that far just to get back at me? It's pathetic!
Of course I do. Don't you understand just how angry I am? I thought that you were more intelligent than that, Mr. I went to the top university in the country.
Don't you dare laugh at me like that!
Huh? I don't understand. What's going on? To summarize, your husband has been committing crimes at work and owes us compensation, so he won't have enough money to buy you your designer bags. Are you okay with that? What? No way. I didn't sign up for that. I thought that you said that I didn't have to work and that you would buy me anything I wanted if I married you. There's no point in me staying with a guy like you if you don't have any money. If you can't keep your promises, then I want a divorce. You conned me, you liar. I'm leaving.
What? Are you gonna abandon me as well?
I think I made it pretty clear that it's not worth being with a bossy, rude old guy like you unless you have money. Who would want to marry you if you don't have the looks or the money or the personality, idiot? And besides, I was getting bored of listening to you go on and on about taxes and stuff I don't understand. You're always using long, complicated words on purpose, aren't you? I don't know when she had prepared them, but Kenichi's new wife slammed divorce papers down on the table and left the house. It looked like they had already been signed. By the way, are you sure you don't want to get yourself to the office? I think you might want to hurry before it's too late. Or they might already be making a fuss about it right now.
Oh crap, I can't let them open that file. I'll lose my job. Please tell me that my manager hasn't checked his emails yet. I've gotta delete it. Kenichi, what's going on? What's the meaning of this email? It's just someone's prank, okay? You can't take it seriously, sir. I would never do something illegal like that, you know? You've gotta believe me, please. Illegal? What are you talking about? Huh? I'm talking about this ridiculous email that was sent to me earlier this morning. I wanna know who sent it and what do you know about it? Ridiculous email? Kenichi likes sleeping in his underwear? What on earth is this? I'm asking you because I have no idea. Did you do this? I thought that you saw the evidence of my tax evasion. Tax evasion? What are you talking about? Ah, damn it, I didn't mean, it's nothing, sir. It's nothing to worry about.
There's another email from a different address, sir. It says that Kenichi has been involved in tax evasion. It's got screenshots of conversations and evidence.
Kenichi, come to my office. I'd like to hear more about this. No, really, it's nothing. Why is this happening to me?
That idiot wasted my time. This is punishment for that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I hope that this email sends him to hell. He looked so pale when I told him I sent an email to his workplace. As if. I would never do something like leak company information. I bet he'll just get caught red-handed somehow anyway. After that, Kenichi was interrogated by his manager for the truth, and his workplace eventually found out that the contents of the anonymous email were true, and that he had been aiding in clients' tax evasion. He was arrested by the police that very same day. Of course, the office was guilty for not having caught on this behavior sooner and would have to pay the price. But they must have realized that it would have caused more trouble if they tried to cover it all up, and came clean right away. Kenichi was thrown behind bars, and it'll be a while before he'll be free to go. He'll have to get used to life as a prisoner. Once he comes out, he'll most definitely have difficulty finding a place that will hire him because of the choices he's made. And he'll have aged too, making physical labor a lot tougher on him. For someone that enjoyed bragging about his superiority and his education, it's pitiful to see what he's become. It's divine punishment on behalf of all the people he looked down on, and he deserves it. As for Koutarou, he's been having a tough time at Kana's, but only because she's been reforming him from the rude brat he had become under Kenichi's supervision. Otherwise, he's been doing very well. Kana has fixed his habit of assuming that he's better than other people and taught him some manners. When looking into why Kenichi had thrown Koutarou out, I found out that my ex-husband had no intention of taking custody of Koutarou when he divorced Kana, but he had no choice. The combination of me agreeing to accept Koutarou and Kana's doctors and family insisting that Kana wasn't in any state to take custody of him, he reluctantly gave in the pressure from all sides to take Koutarou home with him. As Koutarou grew up, it seems that Kenichi became afraid of being blamed for Kana's depression and decided to raise Koutarou into his only ally. In the end, I think that it was a good thing that Koutarou was able to learn about how to be a decent human being in the care of his real mother. As for me, I'm still living with my parents and have returned to being a full-time worker at the office and have been working really hard for a promotion. I think I'll spend some time alone before I think about getting a new partner. If I've learned anything from this event, is that I'm a terrible judge of character, so I'd like to move forward in my career and take my time looking for someone to spend the rest of my life with.
You idiots, what have you done while I was away?
I had never seen my father-in-law make such a scary face before.
I'm sorry, Dad, it's just that I was possessed for a moment, and,
Yes, that's just a little...
You're apologizing to the wrong person, you stupid idiots! Megumi, this is all I want in my life. Please, marry me.
If you're okay with it, I would love to.
Really? Yes!
And so I got married.
Oh, hello, Junior. Thank you for coming all this way.
Sir, thank you very much for your blessing.
My name is Megumi. My father is the president of the big MoniRobo bank. And then my fiancé Junya is the son of the CEO of a small to medium enterprise. And that company uses MoniRobo Bank as their main bank. That means that Junya and my father have a very deep business relationship. That's why my father knew Junya very well already. And Junya also knew my father as well. And the two of us met 5 years ago.
You can come in.
I brought you some tea.
Sure, thank you. Oh, Junior, this is my daughter, Megumi.
Nice to meet you. My name is Junya.
My father was the president of the bank, and I was working as his secretary. On that day, Junya just so happened to be visiting the bank in place of his father. After his meeting with my father, as he was leaving...
Miss Megumi?
Yes?
If you'd like, would you mind if we exchanged phone numbers?
Apparently, Junya had fallen in love with me at first sight. It sounds silly to say myself, but I had always been quite popular with the guys. I would always get hit on around town, and I can't count the number of times I was asked out when I was a student. I didn't mean to be arrogant, but at that time, I honestly thought, not again. Normally, I wouldn't give them my phone number. However, because he was my father's business partner, it was a different story. When I thought about it from a business perspective, it was really hard for me to say no. I felt like I had no choice but to give him my phone number. After that, he invited me out to dinner. We went on a few dates, and 1 year after the first time we met, he asked me out. Given that he was on the next line to be CEO, he was very gentlemanly, and I enjoyed talking to him, so I agreed to date him. 2 years after that, I received a marriage proposal. We already had a deep business relationship, but more than anything, I also wanted to get married soon and settle down, so I was happy to say yes to the proposal. It wasn't necessarily a burning love, but I believed in his sincerity and honesty. That day, Junya had come over to formally ask for my father's blessing. For the first time ever, both families were going to be meeting each other, and I was very nervous.
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, please, you don't need to be so formal. Today we're meeting as a family. Let's do this without formalities.
That is true.
My father and Junya's father seemed to be having a great time. I think this is going well, or so I thought. But there were two people who didn't seem like they were on the same page. That was Junya's mother and his little sister. For some reason, the two of them alone didn't seem happy at all. Huh? Well, this is strange. I wonder if I did something wrong. I couldn't understand at all why the two of them seemed to be in such bad moods. Was I just misreading the situation? At that time, that's all I thought of. But even still, they barely said a word. Moreover, it felt like the two of them were glaring at me.
Actually, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you something, sir.
What's that? You've already proposed, haven't you?
No, well, if possible, I would really like to live with Megumi in this house, and I would like to ask your permission, please.
What? This was the first time I was hearing about this. Well, it's not that I was opposed to it, but...
This is a wonderful house, and more than anything, I've known you all for a very long time. I can trust you. Megami, what do you think? I don't think it's a very bad idea.
Everybody's eyes turned straight towards me. Sure. Perhaps I'll take this opportunity to move out of our house.
Yay!
Oh dear, isn't that great? My June.
Hey, Mommy, the mother, stop that.
Did he just say mommy? But also, did she call him June?
Hey now, Miss Megami and her family are here. Cut it out.
I could understand why Junya was happy, but I wonder why his mother was so happy. I was about to start my life living in Junya's family house. I quit my job as a secretary for my father, and I became a full-time housewife. Pardon me, huh? I arrived to Junya's house, but nobody was there to greet me. I told them I would be arriving at 11 o'clock, but then suddenly... Shut up! You're so loud! We're trying to sleep! Junya's little sister, Akari, raised her voice and stormed over to the front door. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to... Ugh, you're so annoying, first thing in the morning. I'm very sorry about that. Right off the bat, I was yelled at, but didn't remember doing anything that wrong. Wait a minute, what about my room? I tried to call out for somebody to show me around, but nobody came out. I had no choice but to stand around at the front door. Oh, ma'am, good morning. What? I was shocked that she just ignored me. And then... Oh, come on, June. Wake up, sweetie. It's almost noon.
Mommy, I want to sleep a little more.
I could feel the blood draining from my body. What was that conversation just now?
Oh, Megami, you were here? Come on in.
Sure. As I was told, I followed Junya into his room, but then... Hey, of course there's no way you're allowed in June's room. What? I was confused, and without thinking, I looked over at Junya's face.
If that's what my mom says, I guess that's that, so...
What? Your room is over there. As I was told that, I was taken up to the 3rd floor into a tiny room. It was covered in dust, and it didn't look like a place for anybody to live. It was more like a storage. This is my room? What? Do you have some complaint? No, not at all, ma'am. Junya's room was on the 1st floor, and my room was on the 3rd. I didn't know what to say, but it felt like we were being forcefully pulled apart. Even after that, is something the matter? What do you mean, is something the matter? Get to work. Work? Hurry up and get downstairs. As I was told, I went downstairs, and there I saw dirty dishes and plates that had just been used. You're so slow. Hurry up and wash these. Sure. I assumed that everybody had left me out and already had their meal. It was clear I was being left out. Not only that, but demanding that I wash the dishes.
Hey, Mommy, where are the chips?
Oh dear, Megumi. When you're done washing those dishes, make sure you get June's potato chips. Junya was laying sideways on the couch, munching on popcorn, with the TV remote in one hand. What is this? And also, he's been saying mommy. I felt like I was in the middle of a bad dream, and it felt like I was being treated like a servant. When I finished washing the dishes, I decided to go clean up my room. I wanted to borrow a vacuum, and I was looking for my mother-in-law when... What do you think you're doing? Hurry up and go do the groceries! Groceries? What are you talking about? Obviously, the groceries for dinner! My sister-in-law was so aggressive that I wasn't able to say anything back to her. In the end, I had to give up on cleaning and I went out to get groceries. Wait a minute. What am I supposed to buy, though? Excuse me, what ingredients should I be buying here? Spinach, celery, carrots, cucumber, eggplant. But no natto, because June can't eat that. Well then, is there anything in particular that he'd like to eat? Just make something random. Well then, why are you asking me to do it? That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't want to make the relationship any worse than it already was. How long is it gonna take to get there? Junia's house was pretty far from the nearest supermarket. I'm pretty sure I walked at least 5 kilometers one way. As I was walking, I was thinking about what my mother-in-law and Akari were being so evil to me. This was at most a guess, but Junia was a mama's boy, and his mother was obsessed with him, and he obsessed with his mom. Basically, Junia wanted to marry me. However, he didn't want to leave his mom. That's why Junia made me move into his house. On the other hand, his mother hated that a wife was getting in the way of her sweet son and was treating me like a pest. And as for Akari, to be honest, I wouldn't be able to call her beautiful on the inside or out, even if I was trying to flatter her. I quickly knew that both of them didn't think highly of me. What took you so long? I'm sorry, it was a lot farther than I thought. We have dinner at 6 p.m. in this house, so get to it. Yes. At this rate, I was a housemaid. No, I'm sure even a housemaid would get treated more decently than this. It had been 1 week since I moved into Junia's house, when one day I decided to talk to Junia about his mother and sister's treatment of me. Hey, Junia, do you have a minute?
What do you want?
This is about your mother and your sister, but is there anything you can do?
What do you mean? Did something bad happen?
What? You've noticed, haven't you?
Noticed what?
I couldn't believe it, but Junia hadn't noticed that I was being bullied. I had no choice but to explain everything from scratch, but...
What? There's no way my mom and Akari would do something like that. Megami, what are you saying?
It's the truth. You've been watching this whole time, haven't you?
Don't tell me. You're complaining about something that small?
What do you mean small? Nobody else does anything, but I'm stuck with doing all of the cooking and cleaning.
But that's a given. You're a full-time housewife, aren't you? What do you think you're living here for?
What am I living here for? Originally, you're the one that told me you wanted me to live here. So what is this?
What did you say? How dare you speak to the main pillar of the family like that?
If you're the main pillar of the family, then act like the main pillar of the family.
What did you... whatever, I'm done. Get out of my room.
Hey! After yelling at me like that, Junia pushed me out and closed the door. I couldn't even have a civilized discussion with him. I was starting to miss my own home. That day, I had plans to go out with my friend Haruka. I was in a much better mood than usual. What are you thinking? Who's going to make dinner then? Like I said, it's already been made. Just put it in the microwave and... Are you trying to tell your mother-in-law to warm up some cold food? Is there some kind of problem with that? My, how dare you speak to me like that? Just because you were able to get married to my sweet Junjun, don't you dare get carried away.
Hey now, what's all this commotion in the morning?
Oh, honey, can you believe it? Megumi saying that she wants to go out?
Is there something wrong with that?
What do you mean? The cooking, laundry, cleaning, who is going to do it?
Well, that's easy. Whoever's at home can do that.
But...
Don't spoil yourself with Miss Megami. Why not let her at least go out?
Yes. The only person that was decent in this house was my father-in-law, and that was my #1 saving grace. That being said, he was the CEO of a company. He was always busy with meetings and company responsibilities, as well as business dinners, and he was almost never home. For that reason, he didn't know that I was being treated like this. Because my father-in-law was a very disciplined and strict person, there was nobody in the family that could stand up to him. If only I could talk to him about this. That being said, there was no way that I could tell him his wife and his daughter were bullying me. Oh no, I'm going to be late. I left the house as I was running away. I'm so sorry, I'm late. No worries at all, but it's so rare for you to be late, Megumi. This might be the first time ever. I was never the type of person to ever be late. Haruka was my best friend since elementary school, and she was working as a lounge hostess. By the way, Megumi, are you okay? You seem down. Is that so? I don't know, but your aura seems kind of negative. Oh, did you get into a fight with your husband? Well, actually, I explained the entire situation to her. Haruka sat there with her eyes wide opened, shocked. Are you serious? I can't believe you're tolerating it. I have no choice but to tolerate it. My husband is a business partner of my dad's bank. I don't want to cause any trouble for everybody. That's why I figured I'd just tolerate it. Then everything would work out. Please, there's no way. I think you should go back to your home for a little while. But I don't want to give my mom and dad any reason to worry. Before I knew it, tears were streaming out of my eyes. Megumi, do you want to stay at mine for a while? What? But aren't you living with your boyfriend? You don't need to worry about that. I mean, come on. You're so stressed that you're crying, aren't you? Oh, but you're not allowed to sleep with my boyfriend, okay? Okay, thanks. I found myself crying even more at Haruka's kindness. Aw, come on, you're crying again. That day, I came up with a little plan. That was to keep a voice recorder on me and to record my interactions with my mother-in-law and Akari. I didn't know how this might be of use in the future, but I knew that it would come in handy somehow. My mother-in-law, Akari, and Junya, the three of them were watching TV. We're out of toilet paper, so go buy it. Okay. Excuse me? What was that response? Are you trying to start a fight? I'm very sorry, but starting tomorrow, I will be living at my friend's house. How dare you? Well then, who is going to do the chores starting tomorrow?
That's right, Megami. What's wrong with you lately? Before we got married, you were so full of energy. Don't you think you've gotten too lazy these days?
Junia's words made my blood boil, but I wasn't stupid enough to lose my cool here. What were you doing before I arrived here? You're just going to go back to that time, aren't you? Well then, goodbye. I went back to my room to gather my belongings when... What is this? My room had become an empty shell. All of the clothes and cosmetics that I had treasured had all disappeared. Oh? What's the matter? Why is your face so red? My clothes and my cosmetics. Where did you put them? You've been getting a little too carried away lately, haven't you? That's why we had Akari throw away all of your clothes and cosmetics. That had nothing to do with this family. How could you? I was so upset that I ran out of the house in tears. There. You were really strong to tolerate it all this time.
I guess there are crazy mother-in-laws like that.
I was planning on going the next day, but I was so upset that within that day, I had already arrived to Haruka's house.
That reminds me, I hate to bring this up now, but today I had a really interesting customer. I took a photo with them. Megami, do you know this person?
Haruka's boyfriend was working as an escort, and when I looked at the photo he showed me on his screen, I was stunned.
Given that reaction, I guess that was a bingo.
The photo that Haruka's boyfriend had taken was with none other than my mother-in-law, Junia's mom. What is it? What's going on? It turns out that Junia's mother was a regular at the club that Haruka's boyfriend was working at.
This old lady, she puts in a lot of money, and the other day she was saying that her son married the daughter of MoniRobo Bank. That's you, isn't it, Megami?
How is this possible? Oh yeah, that reminds me. Actually, I have something pretty interesting too. Look at this, Megumi. I did as I was told, and I peeked at Haruka's cell phone. And there, surrounded by lounge hostesses and grinning from ear to ear, was Junya. Have my eyes suddenly gone bad? And am I seeing things? I'm really sorry. I think this was about 2 months ago that this person started coming to our lounge. He said that he got married to the daughter of the president of MoniRobo Bank, and he was bragging to the girls about it.
Even still, mother and son both hanging out with escorts? It's seriously hilarious.
At that moment, I felt something snap inside of me. I don't care anymore. I'm done. I'm going to get them. All the way. Hey, I have a favor to ask of both of you. Actually, on that day, there was a party being hosted for the family, relatives, and friends of both my family and Junia's family.
What? This person is your wife? She's super beautiful. I'm so jealous, man. I bet you're jealous, aren't you? Well, I guess that just means how attractive I am.
Oh, Mr. Junya, is that you?
Why are you here?
Oh, please, don't act dumb. Hey, when are you coming into the lounge next?
What? No, no, what a coincidence. What are you doing here?
What? Why are you? I asked for help of Haruka and her boyfriend, and invited them to the party to make those two sweat. This is my best friend Haruka, and Haruka's boyfriend.
What?
What are you two yelling about?
No, it's nothing, Dad.
That's right. If anything, what's the matter with you, honey? Why are you here? Can you please stop acting dumb? Well then, what's this? At that moment, I presented the two photos of my mother-in-law with Haruka's boyfriend and Junya, surrounded by lounge hostesses. The entire venue was shocked. And then, to rub salt into the open wound, oh, and I will be getting a divorce from Junya.
What on earth is going on here?
Please have a listen to this. I presented the voice recordings that I had taken previously.
You idiots, what have you done while I was away?
I had never seen my father-in-law make such a scary face before.
I'm sorry, Dad. It's just that it's like I was possessed for a moment, and...
Yes, that's just a little...
You're apologizing to the wrong person, you stupid idiots! Miss Megami, sir, ma'am, I'm so terribly sorry for the disturbance and for causing you this trouble. You two, hurry up and apologize!
Pressed by the enormous intimidation, Junya and his mother fell down to their knees. Their bodies were shaking as they apologized profusely, but it was too late for that. Anyways, it looks like I'm not your family, so I will be divorcing you.
Wait, Megami, please, think this through.
Beginning with Junya, both his mother and Akari were also stunned. I'm sure they never expected me to stand up and get a divorce. However, I am always true to my word, and I don't change what I already have decided. After declaring the divorce, I hurried up and left the venue. Once the divorce went through, I received a very large settlement fee and decided to return back to my parents' house. After the party, Junya's father came to our house to apologize again. He was always a wonderful person, and I had absolutely nothing against him. My father knew that as well, so there were no damages to that business partnership, and that was the biggest relief. When he came to apologize, I asked him what happened after the party, and he reluctantly told us the rest. After I left the party, it must have been difficult for them to be stared at by everybody. So Junya, his mother, and his sister all quietly ran away from the venue. And then, after their messing around at night and their evil treatment of me was exposed, they were disowned, and he divorced his wife as well. The three of them were kicked out of the house and lost the real pillar of the family. And apparently, they started living in a rundown apartment together, while blaming and belittling each other. Even then, because they were shunned by their neighbors, apparently, they are now living quietly in a small town far away. As for me, in order to get a fresh start on my own life, I decided to get a job. I wanted to work proudly as an independent person, in a place where they don't know who I am. I'm going to work hard, and perhaps I may meet someone great along the way. My name is Nano Nomaru, 28 years old. I work as an editor of mangas. I grew up in a household without much financial freedom, and I was raised by a single mother. While my friends my age were getting excited about the newest games, I understood my family's situation from when I was little, and I wasn't able to ask my mom for anything. My mom must have realized how I felt, and to at least give me something to enjoy, she gave me all of the mangas that she had stored at her parents' house for me to read. I'm sorry, Nano, I can't buy you any games, but... No, the mangas are so funny! Really? Well, then next time I'll bring more from Granny's house. From there, I became sucked in more and more to the world of mangas. Whenever I was reading a manga, I was able to forget about anything terrible that was happening in reality. Perhaps it was only natural for me to end up in work related to mangas as an adult. When I was job searching after graduating, I went around to every publisher that was producing mangas to get an interview. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into any major publisher. However, I was somehow able to get picked up by my current company that publishes a monthly manga magazine. They were convinced by my passion towards mangas, and currently I am in my 5th year as an editor. I was right on the brink of grasping a really big opportunity, and I was working harder than ever every day. However, there was one person who insisted on getting in the way of my work. Nano, you look crazy. Are you okay? Are you sleeping properly? I'm busy, so please don't talk to me. Oh dear. Are you sure you can say that to me? As the manager of the ace of this manga department, also known as the daughter of the executive director, are you sure you want to speak to your highness Rena like that? Her name is Rena Yakamashi. She was the only person who joined the company at the same time as me. As I'm sure you have gathered already, her father was very powerful in the publishing company I worked at, and that's how she entered the company, through that connection. Ever since she was a new hire, she was favored, and last year she was placed in charge of our biggest author, who had already created multiple bestsellers. That only added to her already massive ego and attitude. All of the other teammates, including our bosses and our junior colleagues, were so scared of her backlash that they couldn't say anything. However, I wasn't the same. You're not wrong that you're managing the ace of the company, and that you're the daughter of the executive director. So what? Does that become a reason to get in the way of my work? I'm telling you to show some respect. You're the only one, that talks back to me so arrogantly like this. Why don't you at least go get me a coffee for once? Why should I have to bow down to my colleague? And who do you think you have to thank for this editing department to even exist? Who knows? If I had to answer, isn't it thanks to Mr. Ace that you're managing? In that case, you better respect me. Why should I? I don't know why I should have to respect a manager who doesn't even hold meetings properly. Excuse me? Did you think I didn't know? You're not even having any meetings with the author, are you? Every week you just send them some questions and receive the draft. It's almost amazing that you can claim the mangas are selling because of you. Knowing I hit the nail on the head, Rena started to visibly shake. Go ahead and keep barking, loser. If I wanted to, I could make a bestseller anytime I wanted. If you want to publish a bestseller, don't you think you need to properly face the work being submitted and do your job? That's none of your business. But then, Rena shifted her eyes to the draft that was on my desk. What is this? Did we have an author like this? It was a submission. What? Are they experienced? New. What? But they're way too good? The drawings are pretty amazing level, but the story... If they're this good, of course they'll be popular. They can't just be good at drawing and sell. That's too naive.
Hey, no manu!
Yes, well then I'm gonna go now. Such a big new author is a waste on Nano. With this, it's my turn.
By the way, Namanu, how's it going with that promising young new author?
We're going back and forth about his titles online.
I see, they're not here in the city.
Yes, but we have plans to have him come over here, to have a proper meeting and talk about the work. We'll finalize the names then. We're going to submit them for the next Best New Author award. Please look forward to it. That afternoon, I was waiting for this new author to arrive for the meeting. However, even at the time we discussed, they didn't show up. I tried calling a few times, but it seemed like they had turned off their phone and I couldn't get through. I hope they're okay. I wonder if something happened. I was worried. However, 1 hour later, an unbelievable incident occurred.
Miss Yakamashi, thank you very much.
With your drawing skills, that new author award is an easy win. Let's work hard on the follow-up chapters as well. I was shocked as I heard a familiar voice, and when I turned around, Rena and the new author that I was waiting for walked out of the conference room. I ran over to the two of them as fast as I could. Hey, what's going on here? I was wondering why you weren't here for the meeting.
What? But my manager was changed to Miss Yakamashi, wasn't it?
Huh? What is this about? I got in touch with him. At that moment, I understood that Rena had framed me.
Man, I'm so happy. I can't believe that I get to be managed by the same person as that author of that MoniRobo.
Wait, that's not true. I'm still your manager and that hasn't changed. But also, we have worked together for over a year now. How can you change at this stage? But it looks like he would prefer me anyway. But why?
We've been working together for a very long time now, Miss Nomaru, but to be honest, we just keep on editing the titles, and I feel like you haven't understood what I really can offer.
I acknowledge how great your drawings are, but these days, the readers are looking for more detailed stories and...
But Miss Yakamashi said that with my drawings, it was more than enough to go through, and she said that she liked the story too.
Rena! How dare you!
Anyway, I would like for Miss Yakamashi to manage me, so please leave me alone.
Hey, wait! Well, that's that. Don't worry, I'll be sure to develop that boy into a definite bestseller. I went straight to the editor-in-chief to disclose what happened to him. However, because the new author himself was in favor of Rena, and because of her father's influence, my cries for help didn't stand a chance. And so, the tiger in training that I had been putting my blood and sweat and tears into developing was stolen right under me from Rena. With this, I really wanted to just quit my job. Even when I got to the office, I couldn't get myself to do any work, and all I could do was sit there with a depressing face. When one day, I came across a young man that was pacing back and forth in front of our office, holding an envelope. Can I help you with something?
Oh, I came here to make a submission, and I was told over the phone that someone named Miss Yakamashi would be taking a look at it today.
Her again, huh? I reluctantly called Rena to tell her he was here. However, she arrived and stormed over in a bad mood, and then started saying something ridiculous. Another submission? I hate to say it, but I don't have time to be looking at it, so can you leave?
What? But just the other day you told me that you would look at it today.
Things change, and I have a really important project on my hands right now, so I don't need you anymore.
But why?
Hey, you don't need to say it like that. If you made a promise, then you need to look at it. Oh dear. Well, if you feel so strongly about it, why don't you look at it for him? Especially since you were taken off the other author. You must be bored anyway. And whose fault is that? Well then, so long. Farewell. Bye-bye. At that moment, my depression immediately transformed into anger. You!
Yes.
I'll look at it. Let me see your draft.
You're gonna look at it for me? Thank you very much.
As if I'm going to give up that easily. My name is Nano Nomaru, and you are?
I'm Tezuka.
Mr. Tezuka, let me have a look. Let's see. This is...
How is it?
When I finished reading it, I went back to the beginning and skimmed through the draft once again. Is this the best you can do with the drawings?
Yes, I'm self-taught, and I guess that I'm not good enough, right? Is it?
To be honest, I couldn't say that the drawings were of high level. However, it is.
What?
Sure, the drawings aren't quite there yet, but the story is remarkable.
Really? Actually, that was a copy for just a read-through, and in reality, there's a lot more twists and turns within the series.
I would love to hear about all of that.
This is the story material.
This much?
In this day and age, I thought that all the stories would be made really in-depth, so that the reader can reread it multiple times and never get bored.
In the enormous story material, of course each character had a detailed storyline, but he had also already thought of the story setting, even the history leading up to the beginning of the story. It was all written there. To be honest, there was enough there that any major publishing company would have gladly accepted his work. Thank you for submitting your work to us. I promise I'm going to get you published and make sure you debut.
Thank you very much. I was gonna submit these to the next Best New Author Award.
No, wait!
What?
Like I said earlier, I think your drawing skills have a lot to improve. I understand that you want to submit it as soon as possible, but if the story is this well thought out, I think you should sharpen your drawing skills and submit it under better circumstances. I stood up and pointed my finger at him. For 1 year, let's study drawing. I will support you.
1 year? All right.
From that day, Tezuka and I went to war. I gathered as many books and knowledge as I could for manga drawing and sent them to Tezuka, and as if to meet me halfway, Tezuka continued to draw around the clock. In the award ceremony that was presented during that time, as expected, the author that Rena stole from me won the Best New Author Award. I'm so sorry, Nano, for taking your achievements. His series has been approved, so I'm only going to get busier. Rena looked so proud as she flashed the draft in my face. But I already had the goal of making sure Tezuka could debut, so I completely ignored her. 6 months later, after receiving the Best New Author Award, he was able to debut a full series manga. Because our magazine was monthly, we were publishing 1 chapter every month. Because he was being managed by the executive director's daughter, the new author's new series was written about across all media platforms. before the first chapter was even published. It was moving along as a major project. However, I told you this isn't enough.
But why not? This is the climax point.
This isn't about the drawing, it's about the story. You didn't see the reader's survey? It's only the 4th chapter and you're already 3rd from the bottom.
I just wrote it exactly how you told me to.
Recently, we could hear the voices of Rena and her author fighting frequently echoing through the office. But of course they were. The series that began with so much noise wasn't popular at all. And in the reader surveys, the story is boring. Only the drawings are good. I won't read it anymore. And the negative reviews were pouring in one after another. Rena was somehow trying to save it and was holding meetings days in a row. But since she had left all the story writing to her authors until now, there was no way that she would be able to give any decent advice. And it was obvious that she wasn't able to do any justice to his amazing drawings. On the other hand, as for Tezuka and me, yes, you really worked hard for this.
Thank you very much.
For 1 year, Tezuka had spent all his time solely on his drawings, and his skills had improved to a shocking degree. We were finally satisfied and submitted for the new author award. And of course, the result was...
The best new author award this year has gone to Tezuka!
Yes! Wait, please! What now, Yakamashi? Sure, it's an interesting story, but I don't think that they can complete a whole series with this storyline. I feel like the story will end without being able to circle back to any foreshadowing. I think it's too risky to make this a series. Not to worry, the story is already completed until the last chapter. What?
What? Already?
And there are over 20 titles that we have already come up with. You're lying, right? After the meeting, I went straight to the editor-in-chief and handed over all of the titles and the story material.
This will definitely sell. No, this might become our bestseller yet.
I'll do my best to make it that way. When I got back to my desk, Rena stormed over to me. You better let me manage that guy. Excuse me? I mean, I was supposed to look at his submission in the first place, right? And you stole that from me. Who was the person who said they wanted nothing to do with it, told me to look at it, and threw it away? I never said that. I'm sorry, but I've already decided that I'm going to make him debut myself. Who do you think you are? With no connections and no authority, you need to know your place. And I don't want to hear the complaints of someone who has nothing but connections only. Are you kidding me? It was at that moment, after hearing about his award, Tezuka arrived to the office, and when Rena said that, she grinned from ear to ear and... Fine, then why don't we ask him himself who he would prefer? Hey Tezuka!
Yes?
Congratulations on the award! I knew that you would be able to get it.
Thanks?
So anyway, of course, only if you would want to. But do you want me to be your manager?
What do you mean, Miss Yakamashi?
You know, because I'm managing a lot of authors that are selling, right? So I'm pretty sure that I will be able to give you much better advice than Nomaru ever could. If you're going to publish a series, you want it to sell, don't you? In that case, you're much better off with me instead of Nomaru.
No, thank you.
But why? Oh, I know. You just feel obligated to her, don't you?
That's not the case at all.
You know, you don't need to hesitate.
I'm not hesitating.
Are you still mad about the time you came with your submission? At that time, I was just really busy, so I wasn't able to look at it for you. But honestly, I was really looking forward to reading your draft.
The only reason why I was able to make my debut was because of Miss Nomaru. That's why there's no need to change managers. If anything, I'd like to continue working with Miss Nomaru.
Are you sure you're fine with that? I'm the daughter of the executive director, so if I'm in charge of you, then you don't even have to dream about being in the media, you know.
Miss Yakamashi, you're in charge of the new manga series that just started recently, right? I do remember that there was a lot of media attention in the beginning, but isn't it being discontinued soon?
What did you just say?
The drawings are really amazing, but the storyline is pretty vague. And it's only the 4th chapter, but there were already some inconsistencies. How are you planning on ending it?
Of course I can't tell you that.
Well, that's also true, pardon me.
But, by the way, how are you planning on changing your story? If you want, I can give you some advice.
There's no way I'd be able to tell the rival editor that, right?
Fine. Why don't you do what you want? There's no way a manga managed by someone like her is going to sell. You're both going to fail together. Right after that, Rena was called in by the editor-in-chief, and she huffed and puffed as she stormed away. Once again, congratulations on your award.
Thank you very much. This is thanks to you for telling me to wait 1 year.
Well then, shall we start our meeting about the whole series?
Yes.
A few months later, Tezuka made his manga series debut. In the beginning, of course, we were far from the wide attention that Rena's series received. But the readers were carefully watching. Since the beginning of the first episode, Tezuka's manga continued to maintain a position in the top 3, and 1 year later, he had joined the rankings as one of the most popular authors. On the other hand, as for Rena, thanks to her father's power, she somehow was able to continue her series, but the result of the reader survey was always a disaster. Because they spent too much time on trying to fix the storyline, the highly praised drawings started to get messier, and even the author himself was losing a lot of weight. At that time, another incident fell upon Rena.
What? You want to change managers?
The ace author of the publishing company, the creator of MoniRobo, nodded his head.
Ever since she was placed in charge of me, everything is just administrative, and I don't feel anything new. All she does is tell me the results of the reader's survey, and she doesn't even do the breakdown of it all. I believe that a manga is created hand in hand between the author and the editor. My relationship with Miss Yakamashi is far from my idea. Yakamashi, come here!
When she heard the situation, apparently, Rena desperately tried to convince him otherwise, but he had already made his decision, and Rena is taking off as his manager.
By the way, the draft that I gave to you, you've been holding on to it properly, correct? Well, of course, right, Yakamashi?
What? Yes, of course.
I wanted to give back the original full-color draft that I made right after you were placed in charge of me, but since I'm here today, I can just take it over with me now.
What, today? Now?
I'm pretty sure that it was the 9th episode from 2 years ago. You can find it quickly, right?
It was the standard to save all drafts that we receive in chronological order. So, as long as you knew when it was from, it should be very easy to quickly pull it out. Depending on the author, when a series was finished, there were some people who would request that the drafts be returned. So it was one of the most important standards to preserve them properly. However, Rena continued to reply with inarticulate answers. I'll go look for it, so can you please wait a moment? Rena rushed over to the cabinets that the draft were held in, and with her face completely pale, she started digging through the drafts. Hey, why is it such a mess? Nano, help me! I can't find the full color draft! You weren't storing them properly? After I copied them, I was just throwing them into here. Are you stupid? In the end, the draft wasn't found. Go apologize now. Why should I have to apologize? It's unbelievable for an editor and manager to lose an original draft. But then, Rena picked up her cell phone and started making a call. Hey, before you get on the phone, go apologize first. Everything is fine now. Daddy is going to take care of it for me. What? I couldn't believe it. Not long after, Rena's father, the executive director, arrived and began speaking to the author of MoniRobo, who was waiting for his drafts. What he said was shocking.
About that draft, once we received it, it becomes our company property. So I'm afraid that we can't return it to you.
That doesn't make any sense. I was told I'd be able to receive it after the series was finished.
Unfortunately, that was just a show of goodwill. But in reality, the draft is a part of our company property now, and we have no obligation to return it to you.
Are you telling me that you've lost it?
As if. Of course we have it, right, Reina?
Of course! What the executive director was saying didn't make any sense. The author of MoniRobo was past his limit at this outrageous attitude. He abruptly stood up, and the author stormed out of the room. And then, 1 month later...
Yakamashi, the author of MoniRobo, he's suing our company and taking us to court!
What?
And he was also saying that he'll be changing publishers. How do you plan on taking responsibility for this?
A popular author suing his publisher became huge news and was widely covered across the media, and an investigation was launched to the full management team of our editing department. However, since all of the editors except for Rena were doing our jobs properly, the people who ended up being ridiculed were Rena herself, the person responsible for the department, the editor-in-chief, and, finally, the person who set fire to this entire commotion, the executive director. Daddy, what do I do?
Calm down. Your dad's gotta take care of this, okay?
We'll be having you resign from your position.
Sir?
I bought into your act, but when it comes to our daughter, I never imagined that you would go off the road like this.
Please, wait. First of all, isn't this the responsibility of the editor-in-chief who's neglecting his department?
Of course, we'll also have him take responsibility. However, ever since your daughter entered our company, it seems that you've been putting a lot of pressure to forcefully change managers for different authors, or to silence editors who had brilliant new talent stolen from them. Isn't that right? And because you insisted, we put an enormous budget towards the new series that's on the verge of being discontinued, even though we wanted to put more attention toward Tezuka's new series.
Are you kidding me? Even though that's being managed by Nano? You're going to give someone like her attention?
It looks like you messed up with raising your child. And I hate to say it, but both of you gotta pack your belongings and leave.
No, wait, sir, please, Mr. President!
Nano, you need to help me. Huh? Weren't you fired already? Shut up. I'm going to get back from here and come back on top. Yeah, good luck. Don't say it like it has nothing to do with you. You need to let me borrow the power of your little author Tezuka. I don't understand what you're saying. If we team up with Tezuka's storyline, we would be invincible, right? I thought so too. Right? So please just write one draft. Oh, but we won't say the name of who wrote it. Huh? Because otherwise it wouldn't be my achievement, right? Even in this situation, I guess you're still not going to change. Shut up! Someone like you shouldn't talk back to me. But your daddy that you were always bragging about was fired along with you, right? How unfortunate that your most prized connection is gone. I can do this without my daddy anyway with my own abilities. Well then, can you not ask me for help? I'm telling you that I will let you work with me. You should go back inside your mom's stomach and start over. What is that supposed to mean? Nano? Hey! Nano! And so I blocked the self-obsessed monster. Even after that, Rena tried to fake her way around. But in the end, the draft was never found, and she was chased out of the company. Apparently, she tried to get another job as an editor at a different company. But this is a very small industry, so across the board, they told her that they could never hire somebody that would lose an original draft, and she was rejected. Of course, the series that Rena was in charge of was discontinued. Our company was able to make up with the author of MoniRobo, but they weren't able to stop him from changing publishers, and our magazine ended up losing one of the biggest pillars we had. For that reason, Tezuka's series, who was just starting to gain popularity, became even more important than ever, and we were given a bigger budget to push his work. As a result, his career kept going up, including an anime version of his work being planned. Tezuka was working extremely hard every single day, but he was so brilliant that even in that time, he was thinking of new stories. And one day, he came up with something that we knew was the one.
I wish I could draw it, but to be honest, I can't do double works right now.
At that moment, it hit me. Why don't we present this as an original work? With Tezuka's approval, the person that we presented it to was, of course, this person.
Are you sure that you're okay with someone like me drawing it?
Have some confidence. Everybody agrees about your incredible drawing skills.
But after I betrayed you once, Miss Nomaru, thank you very much. I'll do my best.
And so, Tezuka's second work and his second series was set to begin. The marriage of Tezuka's storylines with the super professional level drawing instantly became a bestseller. As the editor in charge of both works, I was of course thrilled. But, sir, my hands! This time, I don't have enough of any of it. It goes without saying that I'm crying happy but busy tears every day. However, my childhood dreams were all coming true, and I am very grateful for that. I'm so glad I worked hard and believed in myself, and I hope from now on I can help other people dream through mangas as well.